Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in again. Lucid reported fiscal 2022 and fourth quarter earnings results, so I wanted to do a brief overview of the figures. I'll do a deeper dive in a future video. This one will just be a short review of the big picture highlights from their most recent quarter's results. So, revenue jumped to 257.7 million in Q4. That was up from 26.4 million in the same quarter to last year. So nearly 10x increase in revenue, and that just goes to highlight just how much in its infancy this company is. It's just now ramping up production and ramping up scale. Its net loss improved to 472.6 million. That was from a loss of 1.05 billion in the same quarter the prior year. So as it ramps up production, it's shrinking the losses on the bottom line, and that's really good news. In the fourth quarter, it delivered 1,932 cars while producing 3,493 cars. So it's now producing more than it's delivering, which could indicate that Lucid might soon face a demand problem. The cars are not cheap, right? They are very expensive. Reservations decreased to 28,000 as of February 21. This was down from 34,000 on November 1st. So reservations are falling, and reservations are not that difficult to get to begin with. You just got to put down a deposit of a few $100s and you can make a reservation. But it's not only Lucid that's experiencing a decline in reservations. Rivian also had a decline in reservations. And so there might be an industry-wide slowdown in consumer demand here for EVs. As a result, Lucid took a $205 million write-down to reduce its inventories to realizable value. So it made these inventories, it made these cars that it thought it was going to be able to sell at a certain price. Turns out it's not going to be able to sell them at that price. It's got to lower what it thinks it's going to be able to sell these cars for. And so that's not very good news for investors there. The company raised another $915 million from PIF during Q4. Of course, the Saudi Arabian Investment Fund is a big supporter of Lucid. It owns more than 60% of the company overall, and it has pledged its support as well as pledging that it will buy up to 100,000 Lucid cars over the next several years. The company's got good, it's safe in terms of cash. It has $4.4 billion in cash on hand, and in the fourth quarter, it was negative 938 million, and that free cash flow worsened from negative 434 million in the same quarter last year. So it used up 938 million in cash in Q4. Now, looking at how much money it has and how much it burned through, it looks like it has about 5 quarters of runway before it needs to get a bigger investment from somewhere, most likely from the PIF again. Unless it can make progress in reducing that cash outflow as it becomes more efficient in turning out these cars. But that's becoming less likely to be the case because now industry-wide prices are coming down, and as evidenced by this write-down from the inventory, they're gonna have to sell these cars at lower prices than they thought they were gonna be able to sell them. Nevertheless, they're forecasting production between 10,000 and 14,000 cars in 2023. They produced roughly 7,000 in 2022. So at the higher end of this target, that could be double the rate from 2022, which would be a good sign. Although investors that have been following Lucid will know that they did not meet their target for 2022 even after revising it lower. So there's a probability that they may need to revise this forecast lower. And if demand actually turns out to be a problem, they may actually voluntarily reduce production. Even though they have the capacity, they may have to reduce it because all these reservations turn out to cancel, or they don't actually buy when it comes their time to buy. And so that could be something that investors should look out for there. All right, so that's all I've got for this Lucid stock earnings review. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate your viewership, and I hope I will see you next time. I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.